I manipulated my way to a 40% raise in 30 days using a banned book from the 1600s. Law 28 says enter action with boldnesses. I used it yesterday and made $4,000 in a single meeting. But that's just one law. There are 47 more. And over the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you the 5 laws that actually work in 2025, the 3 that will destroy your reputation, and the 1 law that Robert Greene himself said he regrets writing. I spent 30 days testing these laws in real situations, negotiations, networking events, even Tinder. Some made me look like a genius, others almost cost me a friendship. I documented everything. Let's start with the one that made me the most money. Law 28, enter action with boldness. Here's what it actually means. Most people ask for what they want with uncertainty. Hey, would you maybe consider possibly giving me a raise? That's what Greene calls timidity. And timidity is death in negotiations. So here's what I did. I had a client call scheduled. Instead of saying, I think my rate should be higher, I opened with this. Based on the results I've delivered, my new rate is $150 per hour, effective next month. I wanted to give you advance notice. No question marks, no justification, just a statement. Guess what happened? They said yes, immediately, no negotiation. But here's the part that actually surprised me. The client respected me more after that conversation. They told me later they appreciated the directness. That's the paradox of Law 28. We think boldness pushes people away. But in professional settings, it actually builds respect. Because bold people seem like they know their worth. And if you know your worth, maybe they should too. But not every law works this cleanly. In fact, there's one law I tested that almost ended a 5-year friendship. And weirdly, it's one of the most famous laws in the book. We'll get to that in a minute. First, let me show you the law that's impossible to use in 2025. Law 6, court attention at all costs. This law is everywhere on social media. Mr. Beast uses it. Logan Paul built a career on it. The idea is, be conspicuous, be dramatic. Scandal is better than obscurity. Sounds perfect for 2025. Right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Here's why. Greene wrote this in 1998. Pre-internet. Pre-cancel culture. Pre-everything. Back then, attention was rare. Now, attention is cheap. Everyone has it. What's rare in 2025 is trust. And Law 6 destroys trust. I tested this by posting increasingly controversial takes on LinkedIn for a week. My views went up 300%. My business inquiries went down 60% because people thought I was unserious. Attention without trust is just noise. The modern version of Law 6 should be, court the right attention at all costs. Be specific about who you're attracting, because in 2025, 1,000 true fans beats 1,000,000 casual scrollers every single time. Kevin Kelly was right about that in 2008, and it's even more true now. Okay, now the law that damaged my friendship. Law 1, never outshine the master. You probably know this one. Don't make your boss look bad. Don't upstage people with more power. Classic advice. I thought I was following it perfectly. I was completely wrong. And the mistake I made is one you're probably making right now without realizing it. Here's what happened. I have a friend who's a designer. Good designer. I'm not a designer at all. He showed me a logo he made for his client. I gave him feedback. Detailed feedback. Maybe try this font. Maybe adjust the spacing. Here's what Apple does. I thought I was being helpful. Supportive friend. Right? He ghosted me for 3 weeks. When we finally talked, he said, "You made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing." That's when it hit me. I outshone him in his own field, where he was the master. I wasn't his boss. But in that moment, by giving unsolicited expertise, I positioned myself above him. That's the trap of Law 1. It's not just about formal hierarchy. It's about social hierarchy in every micro-interaction. We fixed it, by the way. I apologized. Told him I was being an idiot. But it taught me something crucial. These laws aren't just about work. They're about every relationship. Your friends, your family, even strangers at a coffee shop. Power dynamics are everywhere. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. Which brings me to the most dangerous law in the entire book. Law 15, crush your enemy totally. Here's the full quote. All great leaders since Moses have known that a feared enemy must be crushed completely. If one ember is left alight, no matter how dimly it smolders, a fire will eventually break out. This is the law that makes people call this book evil. And honestly, I get it. Because I tested this law, and it worked. And that's what scared me. I had a competitor in my space. Not a big deal. Just someone doing similar work. They started copying my content. Not inspired by, direct copies with minor tweaks. Old me would have vented to friends and moved on. But I was testing Law 15, So I documented everything. Screenshots, timestamps, side-by-sides. Then I posted a single thread showing the evidence. Not angry, just facts. Their credibility collapsed overnight. Clients left them. They had to rebrand completely. I crushed them. And it felt terrible. Because here's what Greene doesn't tell you in the book. When you crush someone completely, you become the person everyone else fears, including people you care about. The next week, 3 people asked me for advice with unusual nervousness. Like they were afraid I'd expose them too if they said the wrong thing. That's when I realized. Law 15 doesn't just crush your enemy. It changes how everyone sees you. You become the person who destroys people. And once you have that reputation, you can't undo it. Even the people on your side start wondering, when will I become the enemy? This is why I think Law 15 is fundamentally broken for most people. Unless you're running a country or a Fortune 500 company, totally crushing enemies makes you isolated, lonely, feared, but not trusted. And here's the thing, Greene knows this. In his later book, The Laws of Human Nature, he actually walks this back. He talks about the importance of empathy, connection, vulnerability. It's like he realized power without humanity is just cruelty. So if you're watching this thinking, I should crush my competitors, ask yourself, do you want power or do you want a life? Because sometimes they're opposite goals. But there's one law I haven't told you about yet. The one Robert Greene himself said was a mistake. It's not what you think. It's actually one of the most popular laws. People quote it all the time. And Greene says if he could rewrite the book, he'd delete it entirely. I'm going to tell you which one in exactly 90 seconds. But first, I need to show you the law that actually changed my life, because despite everything I've said, some of these laws are genuinely powerful. Law 4, always say less than necessary. This is the law that actually transformed how I communicate. Not in a manipulative way, in a clarity way. Here's the test. For 1 week, I tried to cut every sentence I spoke in half. If I was going to say 20 words, I said 10. If I was going to explain something in 3 sentences, I did it in 1. The result? People listened more, remembered more. And here's the weird part. They thought I was smarter. There's a cognitive bias called the effort heuristic. Our brains assume that things that are harder to obtain are more valuable. When you talk less, people have to work harder to understand you, so they automatically assign more value to your words. It's the same reason luxury brands don't advertise much. Scarcity creates value. Silence creates power. Try this tomorrow. In your next meeting, say half as much as you normally would. Watch what happens. People will lean in. All right, the law Greene regrets. Law 17, keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. In interviews, he said this law was based on studying tyrants and dictators. And while it might work for them, for normal people, being unpredictable just makes you unreliable. People don't fear you, they avoid you. He said if he rewrote the book today, he'd either delete this law or completely reframe it. Because unpredictability in relationships isn't power. It's just instability. So here's what I learned from 30 Days with the 48 Laws. This isn't an instruction manual, it's a warning system. Greene didn't write this book to tell you what to do, he wrote it to show you what's being done to you. Once you know these laws, you start seeing them everywhere. Your boss uses Law 3, discover each man's thumbscrew. Your competitor uses Law 6 court, attention at all costs. That friend who always plays dumb? Law 2, one play, a sucker to catch a sucker. The book doesn't make you manipulative. It makes you aware. Remember that $4,000 meeting from the beginning? The real reason it worked wasn't manipulation. It was clarity. I knew my worth. I stated it boldly. I didn't apologize for it. That's not playing games. That's just confidence. And confidence isn't one of the 48 laws. It's beneath them. It's the foundation. You can learn every law in this book, but if you don't believe in your own value, none of them matter. Power isn't something you take from others. It's something you stop giving away. Stay posted for the next video. Or if that's too much, just hit subscribe. I'm breaking down one law every week with real tests. And let me know in the comments, which law do you think is most relevant in 2025? I'm reading every single one. It might be genius. It might be career suicide. Subscribe so you don't miss it.